Good morning and welcome to what feels like Fly Central at the moment. I opened the door to let some flies out and apparently they invited their friends in instead. So, well, never mind, we'll just go for it. So today is actually the CreateAlong today. So every other month I do what's called a CreateAlong, which you can purchase kits for. Some people have purchased the kit and I really appreciate the fact that you have. So I just want to say thank you to those of you who have. And if you're just going to watch along and enjoy it, then that's fine too. These are the cards we're going to be making, and so I'm going to be showing you the kit that people are going to be getting. And there was a few things I was going to say, so let me peruse my notes and tell you. So where are we? Okay, so if you are creating along with me, remember this video is actually recorded, so you can stop it and start it. If you need to go to the toilet in the middle, don't stress about the fact that, oh my goodness, the video is going to go on without you, because all you need to do is press the stop button. Just thought I would let you know that. I kind of like the fact that I can stop and start things. So there's that. And if you didn't buy a kit and by the end of the video you kind of wish you had, then two things. One, next time remember to buy your kit before the use by date, or the what's the word for it, sell by date, I guess. And two, what we have used in this. So I thought I'd better tell you. So we've got some base white cards. So for example, I use the A4 cardstock, but I think any of these would probably work even if you're in the States or somewhere that doesn't use metric. So yes, I've got my A4 cardstock cut in half, scored in half. So that is basically all of the cards are like this. Then I've also got, oh, I should have had it out. Didn't think of that. Oh, bother it. What's going on? And that one. Sorry about that. Okay, so then I've used the Lovely Stripes embossing folder. It's one of the thick ones, so it's a 3D type. And I found, to begin with, when I started using this, that it kept grabbing the cardstock and was really difficult to release. So I thought I would give you this little tip that I've discovered. I know that if you run complicated dies through with dryer sheets, so my very sorry looking dryer sheets, this is fluffy tumble dryer sheets, aren't they pretty? But if you run it through with one of those, I actually find that not only does it smell kind of nice, but it also releases the paper really easily once you've embossed it. So there you go, little tip. I would not have known about that, but I just thought I'll give it a whirl and see what happens, and it worked. So that is one of the tips that I was going to tell you. We've also used these dies, which are the Everyday Arches dies. We've also used, hang on, I'm just going to pop those down over there. So we've also used some of the shimmer paper, which will become apparent as you can see it, hopefully. I'm just going to stand up and make sure that you can see how shimmery that blue is there behind there. It's very pretty. So there is blue, yellow and pink in the pack of shimmer papers. So the people who've bought a kit will have half a sheet of it each. So it comes as 12 by 12, so they get a 6 by 12 piece, which has been cut up to use in the kit, and then they get the excess to use at home. And what else have we used? So we've used the Covered in Flowers accents, which is, voila, I have left all mine in their little case. Or in their thing, so that I could actually show you it. And the second tip I have for you is, if you are going to use this at home and you haven't bought a kit, then if you want the pieces to stay in the inside, before you take them out, as you'll notice I took this one out and it all started to fall out, so before you take them out, just add some tear and tape adhesive So this is the two-sided tear and tape adhesive to all the different spots so that everything doesn't fall out on you, if that makes sense. It kind of will do as we go through the video. So then the other things I've used the antique pearls. Aren't they lovely? I do love these. I just think they pick up just about every colour, which is really nice. And we've also used obviously white cardstock, and then we're going to be using some stamping blends. It actually won't matter which colours you use. I happen to have used Bubble Bath, Lemon Lime Twist, Pool Party, and Lemon Lolly. And the funniest thing is, so I picked up the Lemon Lolly and I read, ooh, Donker, Lemon Lolly. And then I realised that the German for dark is Donker. Little things amuse me. So there you go. So that is what you will need to create this if you don't have a kit and you're doing it yourself at home. And we are going to move on and start. So if you have the kit, you will know that you have a envelope which is number 1, and weirdly I have no idea why, but I wrote the one on this way and all the rest of them I've written the numbers up in that corner. So I don't know what I was thinking with that, but clearly not really thinking that well. So the other thing you will also need is some dimensionals, because there's certain ones that you want to puff up a little bit. Okay, let's get going. Let's get started. And if you have a kit, then your pieces will already be in your kit. I decided to keep mine on here just so that I could show people what is actually part of the covered in, what's it called? Yes, covered in flowers accents, sort of how they come and that. And we need this one. So we've got 1, 2, 3 that we're using here for this particular one. I'm just going to pop it to one side. Oh, also in the instructions, I have put little things like to keep the pieces all together and stop them falling out, add tear or tape or sellotape to the back of the flowers and leaves, then colour them in. Okay, so make sure that if you're doing it, that you've done that. And then there's occasional just little notes about that particular card. So you will need something to colour onto, and I didn't think of that. So let me grab some scrap paper. I have my scrappity paper. Weeks, come here. And we are going to go ahead and start colouring. So with these smaller flowers, I've actually used my Pool Party, and then on the leaves I've used some of this one. I haven't coloured them fully, as you can see, and then it's just a case of whether you actually want them to potentially have like a bit of a darker colour in the middle. So if you do, then just add like that, and then maybe add a bit of the lighter colour as well if you want to. So I'm just going to go around and do that, and kind of just flick it out a little bit so that it's kind of looks not uniform, if that makes sense. I have a feeling that I may have only used the light colour on this. Because that one looks kind of darker. But there you go. And because you're actually going to be putting something into the middle of them, except for this one, you can actually just go ahead and colour the middle of it with this as well. It really won't matter. I might just add a little bit of this into the middle as well. And it kind of is quite a easy sort of random thing. There we go. And then this one, just sort of flick it as it were. And then some green. So with this, I've run all the way up the stem, and then I kind of flicked it onto the leaves. And if you want to darken it up, you can do. So again, I'm just going to run all the way down the stem and give it a little bit of a flick into there. I do love the way that stamping blend, for want of a better way of saying it. And if you really want them to blend well, then you just kind of go back over the dark colour, sort of like end bits, as it were. And although it initially looks dark, it does sort of like pale up. So when it dries and can't think of what the word is for it, but anyway, I'm also going to just add a wee bit of the darker one to the middle of this. And then a bit more of the lighter one on it. I really like the graduated look that it gives you when you do this. And the thing with the blends is that you can keep on going and keep on going until you're happy with it. It doesn't matter. All it does is it comes through on the other side, which is incidentally why you need to have put your tear and tape on before you start doing this, because otherwise the tear and tape doesn't actually stay on it. Just saying. Okie dokie. So once you've got those ones ready, what we're then going to do is we're going to attach this onto here. So you can either use some of your stamping seal, some more tear and tape, or even multi-purpose glue, Tombow. So I am going to go with my stamping seal, and I will aim not to make the seal noise today. I'll try and be very professional. I'll try. We'll see how that actually ends up, but you know, hey, I can try. So that sits on like that, and then again it sits onto here. Isn't it fabulous? I mean, now you can really see the shimmer there. Hopefully I'm holding everything where you can actually see it. And if you can, aim to get it so it's sort of central and straight. If you know you can't, then put it on an angle. I might just demonstrate with the angle so that you can see what it looks like. It's going to be like that. So it really doesn't matter if it goes on the angle. But what you do then want to do is you need to remove the backing of these. So let's just grab that. Wait. You stay. So you kind of want to make sure that you're going to be putting everything where you're happy it's going to be sitting, actually. Oh, apparently. Okay. Well, it will depend on which side I happen to have put your glue as to which way up it's going to end up sitting. Apparently I put mine on this side. There you go. And ah, yes, there's a good point now. Now I'm going to have it that way. Okay, so I wonder whether I might, in fact, change mine around completely. There you go, because I coloured in this side of it and not this side of it. So potentially if you then wanted to, you know, if you weren't happy with the idea of it coming from this direction, you could actually then just turn it over and colour it again properly. But I'm not going to do that. So I want to just add it onto there. And I should be using my glue mat. See, Lindy, I think I heard you. It's usually Lindy that's saying, don't forget your glue mat. And then, so this one, because they've already got this on it, but you then want to have your dimensionals on it, just pop some of the dimensionals over top of that tear and tape adhesive so that it doesn't stick too much. There we go. That'll work. Oh, sounds like Sam's coming in with the dustbin. Hopefully he sees the little note that I have put on the door. Yikes. And then just decide where you want to add this flower. And last but not least, add some bling. So with the big flower, you can actually put the biggest bling on it. Oh, look at that, they're all lifting slightly. That's pretty. And then the smaller flowers, I'm pretty sure I used 2 of the medium blings and 1 of the smaller blings. So we've got that one and we've got this one, and then maybe, okay, that one. So there we go, that is card number 1. And as I say, you can play around with it. You don't have to do it the way I've done it. Clearly not, because I haven't done it the same way twice, which is very me actually. I don't tend to do things the same way twice if I can possibly avoid it. And there we go. So then you have your nice pristine white envelope for it to go into. And card number 1 is done. Card number 2. So this is card number 2. And for me, I have to just grab this out. So in this instance, it's this one up here. Come here. Oops. Let's tuck that back underneath. And you can see that I've got all my pieces on there that are holding it together. So again, you've got a piece that has been embossed. You've got your base white card. The piece that is embossed is just a little bit smaller than the main card. So I'm pretty sure it would be, you've got your main card being 14.8. So this one would be 14.3 because I think it's, yeah, it's half a centimetre smaller on both sides. So then you've got this way, it would be 10 centimetres rather than 10.5, which is what the length of the card is. So then decide which way up you want this to go, because it actually does look a little different. Hard to tell probably in the video. I'm just going to go ahead and add some of my stamping seal. And bearing in mind that I have about 2.5 millimeters going all the way around, gives me a rough idea of where I can then sit that. pop that to one side, and you want to add these two pieces together. Oh, and I've got to the end of it. And I've got another one around here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, that is also looking quite low. It's always the way. I seem to run out of things in the middle of a video, or when I need them. Oh, I feel like I may have just come to the end of that one as well. Gee, that's impressive, isn't it? Let's just have a quick look and see what I've got in my drawer. Yep, I have one of these, so I can just replace that. One has definitely run out, so let's take that. When I do this, what I usually do is, because quite often it's a little sticky just in there, I'll take that and roll it off my fingers, so that you just literally roll your fingers around like that and it comes off. So that goes in the bin. New one goes into there, and voila, you have another one ready to go. And when you first start them, oh, they roll so easily. I can't remember if it was last time that I had to put a new one in, or that I was using a new one and I said, oh, it's like cutting butter with a hot knife. Just so nice and easy. Okay, so we've got that one, and this is going to end up sitting up on dimensionals, so I'm not going to attach that just yet. Oh, I'm going to get rid of that. And we are going to colour this one in. So actually, again, using the same colours. So this time I know that I have absolutely added the darker colour in there, and you can tell, you can see the darker colour and then the lighter colour. So the way I do it is I actually go ahead and I add the darker colour first. So this is what I would normally do if I know that I'm actually using the darker colour and the lighter colour. And I don't know if you know this, but these have two ends. So they have a narrow end, and then they have your big thick end. And you know what? All of this is going to be the opposite way round to how it is on my original cards. Because, yeah, I have stuck the tear and tape on the other side. So, excellent. So then you move on to the light colour. And I usually find the best way of doing this is to colour the whole thing, and then sort of go back and concentrate on those areas where you want them to blend properly. Because then you'll find that that will give them a nice blend. And sort of leave it for a little bit and then come back to it if you need to. So then I'm going to go with the dark colours. This is really ironic that I've done mine the wrong way around. So I don't know which way I've put your tear and tape on, which sides. I can't say I was really thinking about it when I was doing it. I'm really sorry. Again, just colour the whole thing over with the light colour, and then just go back in and sort of add that lighter colour on. And if you're not happy with the result, you can go back and add more of the darker colour. I kind of feel like maybe the stem should have some darker in it too. Missed a bit. Then I'm going to go back in and add a bit of the lighter colour. that's looking quite pretty actually, but I feel like with the flower it just needs a bit more of that darker colour just in there. There we go, I think that'll look nice now. As I say, you can just let it, seem to have a white bit in the middle there. You can just allow the colour to dry a little bit and then you'll see whether it has blended nicely. So I'm feeling quite happy with that one. So then I am going to go ahead and attach it down onto here. Not like that, I'm not. Oh, apparently it is determined. Huh. Okay, that piece did not want to stay on there. That's a bit of a nuisance. Okay. Well, I actually thought that the tear and tape would stay on there better. It's not. That's a bit embarrassing. I'm really sorry. It has held it together for while you were colouring it, so that's a bonus. And I am not sure whether I'm going to be able to get any of it to stay. Okay, well, if it doesn't stay, it doesn't stay. So, oh look, there you go. I've got one piece that stayed. And the rest of it has all come off. Marvellous. Okay, so in that case, there is more than one way of doing this. I would recommend that you add some of the Tombow adhesive to the back of it, because I know this will definitely stay. And just tap that around, coming down there. And then, so carefully pick it up, and it should still stay together anyway. And then just attach it down however you want it on your card. And then this now goes up on dimensionals. Six, I might put a couple more into the middle. Apparently they're going to stick to my finger. There we go. So then this is just cut a little bit short of the top and the bottom of the embossing folder, and you can line it up with your embossing folder at the side so that you then know it's going to be straight on there. And last but not least, oh, apparently I still have some dimensional backing attached to that. Add 3 of these. So I know I've got one middle, one large, one middle, one small. So one large, one middle, and one small. And there they are. I do love that bling. That is such pretty bling. And there we go. It does look different because it's turned over, I have to say. And then again in your nice white pristine envelope. And that is card number 2. So now moving on to card number 3, which is this one here. And yay, I've used different colours. So we need to have this one here. So this is a nice big piece. Just persuade that out, and that is that piece there. Okay. So to do this one, what I actually did was I ran it through the embossing folder first, and then I cut it out, because once you've run it through the embossing folder, the paper is actually relatively fragile. Although after I discovered the trick of using the dryer sheet, it's not quite as fragile as it was previously, if that makes sense. But it does, what it does then, it still leaves the embossed look, but it does flatten it slightly once you've run it through the die cut. So this then gets attached straight down to your card. Where's my stamping seal? And it's going to attach itself to my fingers. Again, you've got that 5mm gap, so it's actually, when it was cut, it had a 5mm difference between each side. So it's actually 2.5mm is what the little gap around the edge of it is. Just so that you're looking for the right amount. I really like this nice clean white look to it, and that embossing folder is just superb with it. So then this one I've also stuck so it's directly down on top of there, and I'm just going to go ahead and use this again. Whee. And the reason I'm just going around the edge there is just to make sure that there's no excess glue. If you have a glue mat and you want to, just pop it down onto your glue mat and just run your finger around to make sure there's no excess glue there. And then that way you can rub off any excess, or especially if you're using the stamping seal, it makes life so much easier. And then this is going to sit into there. So it's not exactly the same size. It is slightly smaller in the middle, slightly larger on the outside, and apparently I still have some glue there that didn't make it. So if you don't have one of these, you can actually use a normal rubber and it will have the same effect, I have discovered. Oi, 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 get back onto there. But this is specifically a glue rubber. And apparently I am going to get glue absolutely everywhere on this one. Wow. Who would have known that a video that I can't flip and change around would just go like this? All right, obviously that's a requirement at the moment. Then we're going to colour these in. So this time I've used the pinks. So in my case I'm using the Bubble Bath, and I'm using the Lemon Lime Twist, no, the Lemon Lolly, sorry, got a lemon in it. And I'm also using the Lemon Lime Twist. See, 2 lots of lemons, awfully confusing. And so you can tell with this that I have put the yellow into the middle, and then I've used the darker pink and the lighter pink, and then I've used the darker pink on this one with the the yellow on the other part. So hopefully that's as clear as mud. So we're going to go with the yellow first. So we want the darker yellow. And it's all, I use this flicking motion. Oh, hello. So I have just discovered that I have some extra bits still in the middle of this, which I won't be needing. So let me take those off. And then get to work colouring. So after the yellow, so I've used the dark yellow and then I'm using the dark pink. Whoa, that wind's catching up. And in fact, what I might do is put a little bit of the dark pink on the bottom of the little buds. And then go with the light pink in the middle of those buds, just to sort of like blend it together. And then the light pink on those bits there. Actually wondering if I was to leave it to dry completely, whether the tear and tape that's on the back there would have tear and taped stuck, as it were. So we might give it a whirl with this one in a minute. Kind of feel like maybe we need to just add a little bit of the lighter yellow into there as well. Kind of like the fact that you can really blend different colors together and it still looks good. So let's just add a wee bit more of this. That's beginning to look quite nice now. And then we need the green leaves. So again, I'm going to start with my darker colour. And there. Oh look, I've forgotten one of the flowers. And I'm not colouring it all with the dark green. I'm just colouring some with the dark green, and then I'll move on and add the light colour. Yep, that's the light one. That's looking all right. That one there we need to colour in, don't we? So let's just and my yellow on that end, and my darker pink in this end, and a little bit of the light pink just to blend it all together. That is so pretty. So what I'm thinking is that because I'm pretty confident this is just going to peel straight off there, I'm going to leave it for a little bit and see whether once it's completely dried I can peel it off and the tear and tape actually stays on. We will find out. So what I'm going to do is put this one to one side and move on to the next card, which is this one here, and then come back to adding that onto there. So let me just grab out my bits from this for this card, which is that. And again, my flower's going to go in the wrong direction. Not necessarily wrong, just different. So let's pop that and that over there. And again, you're going to be colouring in, so we're going with that and that. And I'm going darker colour first again. And then just flicking it up. And then the light colour, you just come in and add it. And as I say, when you want it to blend together, you just kind of do little circles and blend it together. It's looking good. And some of the darker green. And the lighter green. Whoopsies. Feel like I should be telling you to talk amongst yourselves while I do this. Just adding a bit more of that. And that's looking pretty good. Okay, so again, I'm fairly confident that is not going to stay on there. So let's pop that one to one side and let's see whether this one has dried enough yet. It's still feeling quite damp. Let's see. Oh no, look, that's actually coming off. So maybe that's the answer. Oh no, hang on. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the answer, is leave it to dry off better, because that's now coming and it's not taking off the glue part, or except for the odd one apparently. Oh really, no, don't be so darned awkward. Okay, so yeah, obviously they need a little bit longer to dry on there, which is not a big issue. Just means that you maybe, you know, colour all your bits and then leave it to dry. Okay, managed to persuade those pieces off there. And in fact, this is going to go up on dimensionals anyway, so I don't really know why I was quite so fussed about it. Now that I've got to this stage. So, might actually move on to some smaller dimensionals, because I feel like that would be more profitable to use smaller dimensionals. It might fit a little easier onto some of these as well. Bigger leaves can have a big dimensional on them, but the smaller leaves maybe need the smaller dimensionals. Oh wow, that managed to end in completely the wrong place. One of those and one of those. There we go. This is the card here, by the way. So we have a little rash of dimensionals on the back there. Okay, fine. I think that is all off there now. And it's going to stick to my finger. So you could go that way, or you could go this way, seeing as mine is now again different to what's there. I'm actually going to make it different again, so I'm just going to mirror image it. And oh, then we need the bling. And it looks like I've gone with small bling for this one. So one. You should have more bling than you actually need anyway. So if you choose to use a different size, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. And there it is. So then that is that card done. Let's find the envelope for it. Pop it up there. Wonder if this is dried. You know, bearing in mind that I'm having so many issues with doing this, I may just go ahead and pop all these out and colour them in. And then I'll be able to just stick them down in the right places when I get to the cards. So let me just pop them all out. And I really couldn't find a use for that, I'm afraid. If anyone finds a use for it, then yeah, feel free to let me know what you do with it. But you won't actually have it if you've got the kit, because I have taken everything out for you already, as previously mentioned. Right. So now that I've decided I'm going to do it this way, I actually now need to know what colours I need each thing in. Okay, so this one here is pinks. Let's start with that. We have pinks and we have greens. You really don't have to be that careful when you colour with blends, which is really nice, as you can see. Oh, and look, there's a little bit extra piece there that just needs to be poked out, because you won't be using that piece there. And then the light colour. So you probably do want to be a little bit careful that you don't end up with pink on the leaves, but otherwise, yeah. feel like I should be talking, but I'm not really sure what to say, to be perfectly honest. I feel like I've said what I needed to say. And I've just realised that the way I coloured this one in was that I actually put the dark colour into the insides of the leaf, and I had the light colour on the inside here. So this is really cool. Okay, so you can actually go ahead and colour it all with the light colour, and it will change it to being light. And then you can come back with the dark colour and put it where it was supposed to be, which is apparently just inside there. I'm going to use my little, this side. There we go. Moving on to the green. Oh, yeah, dark colour first. So maybe mine will sit this way. So you almost want to put the darker colour in where it's actually going to be sort of shadowy. So I might have a bit of a sort of shadow happening there, and I might have a shadow underneath the flower here. And then I'll be calling it shadow underneath the leaf, sort of there, and potentially a bit of shadowing there. Interestingly, the flies seem to have settled down. Not too sure what's happened to them, but I'm not going to complain. Oh, look at that. There's a little tail there that needs to be coloured in as well. So that is going to sit to one side as well, wherever, is that number 5? Yes, that is number 5, and that is number 5's envelope. So we are going to put that with that and leave it to one side. Wonder if this has dried yet. That actually does feel like it's dry. See how we go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that is definitely the key. Leave it to dry completely before you try and attach it down. What have I just done with my glue mat? There it is. Alrighty. So obviously mine's going to sit in the wrong direction, or the other direction. I shouldn't say it's the wrong direction because there's no right or wrong. And then this is going to sit on top of here with a little bit of a gap going around. Ooh, yeah, move over a wee bit. There we go, that looks like the right sort of a gap. And then make sure your card is facing the right direction. Although potentially, if you're just putting this piece on, it may not. Yes, no, it does matter. Yes, make sure your card is facing the right direction. Add a bit of your glue to your embossed piece and add that in. Now, so this time there's a bigger gap around, so it's probably about 8 millimeters going all the way around. I don't think it's a full centimeter. No, it's not a full centimeter. It is about 8 millimeters that that the gap is all the way around this one. And then this piece here goes up on dimensionals wherever I put my dimensionals. This is what happens. Everything sort of just disappears as I do things. I wonder if I actually put them back into my tub. Nope. Oh, there they are. Look, they're hiding. Okay, so I can use big dimensionals to do this because it needs to cover a fair size area. There we go. That'll do for this. And just add that on. Now hopefully I have got all your stripes right, so you should be able to line it up with one of the stripes on the backing, and then that can sit onto there. And then you just need some bling. Maybe I should put my glues with that and then bring my bling over. And looks like I've used smallish ones on this, so let's just go the mirror image. And there you have it, mirror imaged. Okie dokie. So what's left to do? So we've got this one left. Oh, let's see whether this has dried yet. No, that one's still feeling a little damp still. So I'm just going to keep that to one side still. We will get to this one in a minute, and we're going to colour in the bits to go with this one first. So, as I said at the beginning of it, you can use completely different colours to what I've used. You don't have to use what I'm using at all. I'm going this time with the blues and the yellows. And I'm going to be putting the yellow into the middle of the flower. So I should have 4 flowers. Wonder where my other flower's gone to. I know there was one that was kept on trying to escape. I wonder if that's it. There it is. Yep, the escape artist flower. And it was the largest one. That was pretty rude of it. So just pop your yellow, sort of scribble it into the middle of each one, and then we're gonna scribble in a bit of the blue. So at the moment I'm just using the 2 lightest colours, so I've got the lightest blue and the lightest yellow here. As you can see, I'm relatively haphazard with the way that I do this. And I do think it turns out all right, so that's a bonus. sure there are people who are absolutely amazing with the blends, and I'm not convinced that I'm one of them. And I might just add a little bit of the darker colour just right on the very tips of this. Just as you can see, it's just added it to the tip, and I'll actually go back over in a minute with the lighter colour and just blend those tips in a little bit. All right, so I'm going to move back to the lighter blue and just go over those side pieces. Just gives it a little bit more definition of colour in there, rather than having it very light. I'm one of these people who prefers sort of more definition to the colour, rather than having really light wishy-washy stuff, but I know that some people prefer it that way, so please don't be offended that I call it light and wishy-washy. So there you have it. That is those done. Then we will move on to, I almost called them the feathers, but no, we're going with the leaves. The leaves. And what have we got? Oh, that's the light. I want the dark. And again, I'm just going to add the dark colour to the bottom of the leaves and then the light colour to the top of them. I'll have to decide which is the top and which is the bottom. Yikes. Decision time. That's the top and the bottom of that one. Oh. No, I always kind of think that leaves have slightly less pointy bottoms than tops. Sort of the top of it is more pointy, but yeah, that's not always the case in nature. And you see initially how it looks like it's got a line going through it, and once you've done this and you've sort of blended it a little bit, that line just fades away. There we go, those pieces are coloured in. Marvellous. Hopefully they will all look good. And in fact, they can stick straight onto the card because they don't have anything else behind them. So bonus, I can actually make this card up. Ooh, that's exciting, isn't it? Right, let's see. So we have got that one and that one. So those two get stuck down onto the card first. Let's just go ahead with this. Did you realise that there is actually a right and a right and a right way up, a right and a wrong way up even to these? That the pinpoint bits that are pressed downwards are actually the right way up, and then potentially that could be the wrong way up. But if you like it that way, I am not here to tell you that it's the wrong way up. Just thought I would clarify that. So you need a little bit of a gap at the top and the bottom and just on the side there. And then this one, I've actually lined this one up along the bottom of this. You don't have to. I just did because I liked the look better when it was, instead of having it up like that. For some reason, I didn't really like it when it was up like that. I actually preferred it when it was level at the bottom. But entirely your choice. And it is going to stick to me. So attach that one down. And then discover that you have something extremely sticky just there. Again, how? How have I done that? Move it along. At least it's not like the gold foil or the silver foil when you use it on this particular paper. It does rub off. Whereas when you use it on gold or silver foil, I tend to find that it leaves a bit of a mark. So score 1 for the, what's this called? Shimmer paper. All right. Then you need to decide whereabouts you are going to put your flowers and your leaves. And it's just a case of deciding that maybe you want your leaves sitting up there, and maybe you want this one to sit underneath here. And why do I have, oh, no, those don't belong to that. These two belong with this one, which if you have a kit, thankfully, they will be segregated and you won't be trying to use them on the wrong card. Bonus. So there we go. We are just gonna move it along and see. Yeah, you know what? I am just going to start sticking. So we are going to go with this one down first. And pop that one down as well. So it's only the ones that are kind of going to come up on the top that are going to end up on dimensionals, because otherwise you end up with, oh yes, that's a good point. That's something I did do. Don't know what I was going to say there. So let's just attach that and stick that underneath there. Let's use my, do you know the other end of this is really handy? So you can actually just pop that underneath there and lift things up. Oh, here comes the wind again. And one of these I have down flat in the corner here, and the other one I have up on dimensionals. Let's see whether I want a big dimensional or a small one. I feel like small. This is kind of a very pathetically small amount of dimensionals in this particular one. I think it must have come out of a kit. And when I make up kits, quite often I'm just grabbing the dimensionals that I have already on the go, so then therefore I don't end up using the dimensionals from the kit, and they end up going into my tub and being used at a different time, which clearly now is the different time. Let's see. So one thing I was going to show you with this one is that if you want to, you can add like a dimensional under one side of it, And you can add a bit of glue onto the other side. I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow this time rather than the seal. And if you pop a little bit of Tombow just onto the other side like this. Oh, actually, I did want another leaf underneath it, so hang on a minute. Let me just shove a leaf on there. Let's pop a leaf down there. And then you can kind of have it so that half of the flower sits up and the other half of the flower sits down, so that you sort of like can create this sort of like slanting effect. So I will do that with the next one. I've got, how many more flowers have I got to go? Oh, leaves, sorry. Let's have this leaf coming out of there, and let's have this leaf maybe coming out of there. So we'll just pop that leaf down. And I'm just going to do the same thing again here. So I'm going to pop one of the dimensionals onto this side and a bit of the glue onto the other side. So that again, you've got that look that it's sort of like hiding behind the other one, but you don't have to, I can't think of the right word. And again, I'm actually going to do something similar with this one. So apparently that is my dark side, that is my light side. So when it hasn't attached itself to the back of my fingernail, I'm going to attach it to there. And a little bit of glue on here so that we can, so we've got half of this sitting up and then the other half sitting down. And then the last one, I'm just going to add just up on dimensionals completely. 2, 3, oh. Nope. 2. I feel like I'm starting to get a little sticky here. That could just be that the air conditioning's off, because I can't put the air conditioner on when I'm doing this sort of thing, because otherwise you won't be able to hear me. It's a little bit loud, my air conditioner. So that is how this one turns out, and you can sort of see now, hopefully, that that you've got this sort of like little layering effect going on there. And then you want to add your bling, which is around here somewhere. There it is, found it. So whichever ones you feel would go well. So actually, you know what? I'm going to add a large one into the center of that one, and then on that one, and maybe a small one into this one here. So there you go. Of course, if you want to, you could add a saying into it as well. I haven't, because I deliberately wanted to leave them sayingless, because sometimes it's nice to have a card that doesn't have a saying on it. And that was number 7 apparently. So we are now well and truly out of order. Let's move to, let's see, shall we finish this one off? I think let's finish this one off, because this should be dry by now. Okay, where's the card gone to? There is the card, and this ought to now peel off. Okay, yeah, it does. Excellent. Come back here. There it is. No, it's not. I have taken the end off. Right, hang on, let's just attach it back again. Yeah, there it is. And then there it is. And we glue that. Tweak. No, attach. A little bit just on those leaves there. And now I've lost my card base. Oh, okay. I haven't even got it out yet. There you go. Good job I have glue mat. Right, so in that case, let's just attach this straight down onto there, shall we? So it should, as you can see, fit into there. And it does, so that's convenient. Good. And just be a little bit careful. Now, hopefully, I know why I had this one as my one, because this was one of my first attempts at putting this through the embossing folder, and it started to fall apart, and I thought, well, I'll keep that one because I know I can keep it together. And there we go. So that can then attach down onto there straight, and then it can come up on dimensionals, which are here. Look at that, I actually found them. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Little rash of dimensionals. I have no thumbnail at the moment. Normally I would just pick these off with my thumbnail, but it decided to get a big crack down the bottom somewhere, and now my poor nail has gone, which is very sad. And this then sits just onto there. So again, it's about 8mm gap around the outside of this. And then you need your bling. Which bling am I going to add to this one? Let's go with a nice big one on the outside, and then some of these smaller ones on as I work my way down. There we go. Very pretty. All right. That is card number 5 now done. Somewhat out of order, as I say. Oh, and I've just managed to throw those down the end of my desk. Whoops. Doesn't look like I will be displaying them at the end of the video. Otherwise, I will have to crawl under my desk to try and recover them. All right, so the last one is a little different, because what we're going to do with this is we're actually going to have this colour behind this. So in order to do that, you will need a pencil. And you're going to trace around the outside of this carefully, without it moving, ideally. Okay, and then you actually do need to cut it. I'm really sorry, there were no dies for this. Aim to cut fairly close to that line. And remember, when you cut, it's actually best to have the scissors in one spot and move the cardstock as you cut. So you can sort of see that I'm just moving the cardstock around, and it makes it so much easier when you do it that way. I do not know why, but it does. Trust me. And there we have it. Okay. That looks pretty good. It doesn't actually matter if you've got a little bit on the outsides of it. However, before you do that, we are then going to, I don't know if you can see with this one, that there is a little bit of a difference in colour in there. And I have actually put onto your instructions how I did that. It says, for this card, you'll be tracing the outline of the flower onto the pink shimmer cardstock and fussy cutting it out. And then I thought I had written more on there. Interesting. But what you're actually going to do is you take your dark pink colour and you want to go around the outside with your dark pink. So again, doesn't have to be special, you know, it's not, it just wants to sort of like look like you've got the pink, the darker pink around the outside. And then what I've done is I've literally just drawn a squirrel. And then you can just sort of add random extra bits, but you want it so that you've got some light and some dark in there. And then when it covers over with this, you don't see the squirrel, you just see the light and dark colours, which I thought was quite cool actually. So just let that dry for a sec. And sadly I couldn't use that stuff on the back of it, that adhesive sheets. There you go, that's the word I'm after. So I recommend, if you can, dot your glue. So to do this, give it a good shake so that the glue is actually at the pointy end. Okay, make sure that there's a little bit coming out, and then just press it very slightly as you do this. Okay, and then because you're using your glue mat, I hope you should be able to just go ahead and sort of dot it round. Don't have to be 100% accurate, but you do have to make sure that it doesn't move while you're being not 100% accurate, because if it moves, you'll end up with glue on the wrong side of it. And there we go. So that can now come off there. And it can sit onto here once I now work out which way around it was. Don't you just love it when it does that? And I've gone and... Oh, you are joking. Make sure that you add glue to the right side of your pink cardstock. Now I'm just going to add some extra colour to this, because apparently I have added my glue to the wrong side. Cannot believe I did that. Wow. Well, never let it be said that I am perfect. There you go. That can now stick down onto there. And gee, mine has a pretty side on the other side too. Not quite what I had envisioned, but there you go. All right, so then you need to just attach these guys down. So a little bit of glue onto here. It attaches flat to your base card. This time you have a 2.5mm gap going all the way around the sides, because it is cut 5mm shorter. And then we are going to go with working out where we want these bits. So again, they will just attach straight down and flat to there. Oh, you know what? Got this here. I'll just grab it out and use it. So what I tend to do is I tend to sort of like put it in there and then work out where it's going to go, and sort of like that. So then this then goes up on dimensionals, and you can use big dimensionals for this because it's not got fiddly little bits in it. But doesn't it look pretty on the back of mine? Honestly. I always think it's good to know that the teacher makes mistakes too. Or it's not mistakes, it's just ways to change things around. We'll go with that. And then add a few of these. So I go with 3 typically. Come on. I may just add 1. Now I'm not sure. There. Now I don't like where that one's sitting. So I'm just going to move that up to there. There we go. Now I'm happier with it. I was, when I was doing the card making retreat recently, they said always put them in like triangle shape so that, you know, it just makes your card look nicer. And there we have it. That is all. Oh, no, actually, there is a bonus card. So if you have the kit, then you also have a bonus card. So I'm just going to chuck this on there and hope that it doesn't go over the back of my desk again. And this is the bonus card. Okay, so mine. But it just so happened that I accidentally embossed some cardstock the wrong way round. And then I went, oh, what the heck am I going to do with all that? So that means that you end up with an extra card to create. So bonus. So pretty much this just sits onto here and it's got a little bit of a gap going all the way around. There we go. That's sitting onto there. Then these are little pieces that kind of got cut out as I was doing other parts of the card. So I figured we might as well create them into a card together. And I'll just turn that on the other way around. This piece that you have in here is actually from... Oh, I didn't even think about getting that out. Hang on. Is it down here? Yes. So it is actually out of the Forever Florals dies, which are really beautiful dies. So it has this beautiful big one, and then this rather attractive small one, which all I've done is literally just coloured the middle in yellow, and then these pieces. Actually, I did not colour the middle in yellow because it is cut from yellow cardstock. So it's actually cut from the yellow shimmer. So I've literally, all I've done is just coloured the leaves. And I thought that would make quite a nice little flower. So, flower posy as it were. So pop that down there. And then this should sit directly on top of that embossed piece. Oh, oops. Hang on a minute. Reverse, back up, back up, back up. Because I was going to put the blue one underneath. I thought it would look actually quite nice if that blue one was underneath there. Don't you just love it when you reverse up? All right. So you kind of want it so that this would have been so much easier had I thought about this first. So I have a feeling when I was working this out that the base of it actually just about mirrors the base on both of them, and then it should look about right. Yes, it does. Okay, let me turn it over and show you. So the base of it is kind of mirrored, but the top of it isn't, if that makes sense. So then you can just add a bit more glue onto here. And then stick it down. So then it sticks down on top of that embossed piece. That was good, wasn't it? Quick change. advantages of stamping seal, I have to admit, is that it does peel off nice and easily, whereas I know I do love the fact that you can move this around. You've got a few seconds of movement on it, but once it's stuck, it's actually stuck. It does not come off, whereas this one, initially when you stick it down, it's still got that movement factor for a little while. And then I thought we would put that on and put that on. So there you go. So that should sit nicely into the middle there and have a nice gap going all the way around it. And then you can decide whereabouts you want to put that and attach it down. So I am just going to do my haphazard gluing again. Wait. That out of the way now, and then I think it would look nice if it was actually in the corner there. And there you have it. So that is your bonus card. Oh yeah, and you've still got some bling, so potentially you could add some of your bling into it. What could we do with it? No, actually, I'm going to move that one along a wee bit to there. There we go. We have bling. And now it's done. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and we will be back to a normal Something Saturday next week. But in 2 months' time, we will be having another Create Along. So keep your eyes peeled. If you're not on my email list and you want to be, because you want to be able to get these Create Alongs and you want to see the mistakes that I make, yes, go me, then make sure that you're on my email list. The link to my blog is below. So my link to get on my email list is on my blog. Thank you so much for joining me, and come and join me next time. Okay, bye.